What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about 3 things that you need to know before you start teaching guitar. So if you have these 3 things figured out, you're probably going to make more money in the beginning, your life is going to be easier, and your customers and students are going to be way happier through the whole thing. And if you watch to the end, there's even going to be a bonus tip, so you're really getting 4 things to figure out before you start teaching guitar. So let's just dive in. The first one, and probably the most obvious one, is how much are you going to charge? You could charge an hourly rate. You could charge a flat rate per month. You could charge per lesson. It's totally up to you, and in the end it probably doesn't matter a whole lot, but having this figured out from the beginning will help you tremendously. Personally, I charge $100 per month, so if you pay on Tuesday the first week of the month, you're going to pay on the first Tuesday of the next month too. You will have to do a little bit to figure out how you're going to handle holidays or when your students miss, but I find this to be the easiest because I can just set a reminder in my phone for everything. Another way that I've seen this done that works pretty well for other teachers is that they charge in groups of 4 lessons at a time. For example, a teacher I know charges $80 for 4 lessons. I don't like doing this way a whole lot because when you get a whole lot of students, it's hard to keep up with who's taking how many lessons. And speaking of who's taking lessons, who are you going to teach? This may sound kind of silly too, but are you going to teach adults or children? Are you going to teach beginners or advanced players? This is a good one to figure out because if you have only been playing for 6 months, you don't want a student that has a master's degree in jazz guitar. On the flip side though, if you have a degree in jazz guitar, you probably don't want to teach 5-year-olds how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star all day. That is, if you even want to teach 5-year-olds. I don't like teaching below about 10 because the guitar is just way too big for them to hold, and they usually don't really have the attention span to actually sit down and learn an instrument. Another reason you may not want to teach kids is if you just don't have the patience for it. Kids take a lot of patience to teach and they can really get on your nerves sometimes. So if that doesn't sound like your thing, you might be better off sticking to adult students. The next thing you should figure out is where are you going to teach? Some of your choices are teaching at your house, going to them at their place, or finding a music store that you can work for. They all have pros and cons. If you teach at your home, there's going to be people in and out all the time, so if you're not a very clean person and you don't like people in and out of your house, this probably isn't the way to go. The cool thing about doing it this way though is that you get to keep the most money. You don't have to pay rent to a music store, and you don't really have to spend money on gas either. Which leads us into our next one. If you're going to be traveling to them, you're going to be spending a lot of money on gas. You also have to factor in driving time between lessons, so you have to schedule more time for each lesson. But again, you don't have to pay rent to a store. And if you should choose to work at a music store, which is what I do, you're probably going to get a lot of clients really fast because they'll advertise for you, and people who want to learn guitar are already looking for a teacher in a music store. The other cool things about this way is they'll take phone calls from clients for me and fill them in with all the details so that all I really have to do is get a hold of the customer and schedule. If I or a student break a string during practice sometime, I can just walk right out into the store, buy a string, and I'm ready to go. I don't have to do any traveling for repairs, and I get to meet a lot of cool musicians up there. And finally, for the bonus one, how are you going to schedule? At first glance, scheduling may seem pretty easy until you start to have students that are late, or their lesson takes a little bit longer than you planned for, and by the end of the day, these couple of minutes for each lesson can really add up. And it really doesn't look very professional for your clients when they have to wait 20 or 30 minutes past their scheduled time. So it might be a good idea to schedule about 15 minutes extra for each student, just in case they're a little bit late, or you have to go to the bathroom, or whatever else happens. And there you have it, not 3, but 4 things that you should probably have figured out before you start teaching guitar. If you're already a guitar teacher and you have other suggestions on how to make it easier to become a guitar teacher, help somebody out and leave it in the comments. And if this video helped you out, help me out by smashing the like button. Kirby, how do I end the video? Please, help!